Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Phyrexia draft here on the channel. I'm going to go pick by pick, play by play, and talk through everything so you can get better and have more fun in your next draft. If you enjoy it, let me know in the comments section down below. Okay, so our rare is not one I've been impressed with. It's just too slow. You have to play this on turn 2 to really get it rolling, but you really want to be playing a blocker on turn 2, so I don't love this card. This card has been great, just almost always kills something, or because there's a lot of 1 toughness things running around. Then there's a Bilious Skull Dweller, which I also like as a 1 toughness creature, but also just a great 1-drop to play. Necrogen Rot Priest is good, but it is black and green, and so it's very inflexible, not super likely to make my final deck, because maybe black-green just isn't open where I'm sitting. And then, other than that, there is kind of weak commons, other than this Volt Charge, which is a really good common, actually, and puts me into red, which is one of the better colors, and kind of a spot that you want to end up. And so I think I am going to take the Volt Charge, even though I think Ambulatory Edifice is a bit of a better card, just because I think Volt Charge is kind of close in power level, removal spell, with Proliferate tacked on and instant speed, but it also kind of sets me up to be in a color that I think is just stronger, so I'll pass these cards. What? Questionable drafting by the person next to me. This card is pretty much unbeatable if you cast it for X equals 5. So not really sure how we're getting past this card. But we'll take it and then try to force white. If this card wasn't in the pack, like if this was a normal situation, then Hexgold Halberd is a totally reasonable follow-up to our Volt Charge. Keeps us in red. It's one of the best cards in the pack, if not the best card in the pack on power level. The only card that's, I think it is just probably the best card in the pack. 2 mana, 2/2 first strike, trample, that you can then do other stuff. Is pretty good. They took a common over this. I wonder what common someone could possibly take over this. Certainly not a white common, I don't think. I'm shocked. But yeah, we're going to take the White Sun's Twilight here. If it wasn't in the pack, I'd take this Halberd. And sometimes people wonder, like, oh, why do you take so long to make a pick? But it's because there's no pack waiting for me. So if I take a while to make the pick, I have something to talk about. I have cards I can talk about. But if I make the pick, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm just sitting there with a screen, which isn't the best content. And now there's a Rhea Ivor, Bane of Bladehold, which seems like a good follow-up to the White Sun's Twilight. This is a nice, like, 4-mana play. Plays well with white, and it can even start generating some mites, so that's pretty cool. What else is in this pack? There is a Tainted Observer, which is miles from where I'm at. This card's not my favorite either. And then there's a Basilica Shepherd, which would probably be my pick if I wasn't taking this Rhea. Even though it's a 5-drop, it still makes a lot of bodies. I don't love Furnace Skullbomb that much. Terramorphic Expanse and the Basilica aren't my biggest priority either. Then there's a Mesmerizing Dose, which can do some work. I'm just going to take the Rhea Ivor. And if I wasn't taking this, I think I would take the Shepherd because it goes with the White Sun's Twilight. We're off to an interesting start here. Rhea's not something I'm going to warp my draft around if black isn't open. I'm more likely to warp around just making sure I play white if I can. Okay, this pack is a little bit interesting. There's nothing overwhelmingly powerful. I've not been impressed by the Flesh Cutter. It just doesn't really do what I like out of like equipment. It costs too much to equip. You get blown out. It doesn't help you block. So I'm not going to be taking that here. There's an Incisor Glider, which can do good work in black-white. I have some kind of token synergies. This rewards me for going wide. So that is an option, and it's also like the only white card. This pack as a whole is a bit weak. There's Mesmerizing Dose, but I don't really have huge blue-white vibes here, and I don't really, or even red-blue or anything, and I don't love this card. There's a Dune Mover. There's really not much else. So I think I'm going to take the Incisor Glider as the best white card. Not really putting too much stock in it as a pick, though. There's just not a ton for me here. And now my eye immediately goes to this Mere Convert as a 2-drop that can fit into any deck and ramp me up. I really like this card because it's just generically powerful as a 2-drop, and it kind of very flexible as well. I don't love Fleshless Gladiator. There's not a, like, I don't really love the Bardiche either. Unnatural Restoration is fine. Shieldred's Headcleaver is fine. But I think getting a good 2-drop is always a good priority to have in this set. Let's look at my curve very briefly. I've got this card as like a 5-drop. I've got this as a 2-drop. I'm going to get a second 2-drop here. And then I just kind of have a nice situation here at the lower end of my curve. I'm not, well, probably not playing red, but I could go white-red or white-black. Or even just go white something else, or just not play white at all and just play like red something. Okay. So here in this pack, there's an Eye of Malcator as a blue card. Really the only blue card in this pack, so interesting to think about. There's a Resistance Reunited, which goes well with equipment, but it's not really a high priority for me. I don't think that it's a great combat trick. There's Chimney Rabble, which I would go with my Volt Charge. Oil Gorger Troll. There's also Zealot's Conviction as a combat trick. And then there's some black cards. I think it's probably between the Chimney Rabble as just a generically powerful 4-drop to go with my Volt Charge, and the Offer Immortality. Probably not the Scheming Aspirant. I'll take the Chimney Rabble, though. Give myself some upside for playing red or something, just red aggro. And we immediately get rewarded with a Bladehold War Whip. That's a nice little follow-up for a potential red-white aggro deck. Incisor Glider doesn't really fit into that deck, but we'll find tools to do that, and this is a really, really good card. Maybe I'll be able to get that, like, some random equipment's coming back around. So yeah, I'm pretty happy I decided to take the speculative Chimney Rabble. Now there's a pick between Indoctrination Attendant, which is a reasonable 4-drop, and Dune Mover, which is just like a run-of-the-mill 2-drop. There's also Terramorphic Expanse, and then some blue cards. Not been impressed by the experiment. Synthesizer doesn't really fit with my game plan right now. And then the Meldweb Strider I just think is weak. And then the Surgical Skull Bomb can do work. It looks like red-white is going to work. And a Dune Mover, making sure you hit your land drop, can be good as well. Holy heck, we wield every black card in this pack. Well, that does make things a little bit interesting. I think I'll take the Edifice. I think this is just the best card. I don't like this as a 2-drop. It just feels like a generic 2-drop most of the time, like 2-mana 2/2. You can just do better, and the Edifice is nice. Now there's a Gold Warden's Helm. I think that's better than Whisper of the Dross. And now there's a Fair Basilica. I think one copy of this is totally playable, but after the first or sometimes second copy, I don't like it that much. Blue is somewhat open, it looks like here. I'll just take the Skull Bomb. I don't think these black cards are very good, though. Sure, I'll take the 2-drop. Last pick black card. So we still could play red-white. We could also just play black-white. We have some good reasons to go into black-white. Here there's Malcator, Purity Overseer. Pretty powerful card. I don't think I'm ever going to play 3 artifacts in a turn, but 1/1 and a 3/3 is pretty reasonable. I just don't have any blue cards really other than this Skull Bomb. Getting a couple last pick black cards is kind of making me want to play black-white, because I got like a couple of late ones. Like Wheeling the Ambulatory Edifice tells me nobody else wants to play black, so maybe we'll wheel this Testament Bearer. I think regardless we're going to take the Planar Disruption here. The reason we're leaning towards white, even though we only have like a couple white cards like this Twilight and this Incisor Glider, is because all of our best cards dabble into white. This card dabbles into white, this card dabbles into white, this is just a white bomb. And so even though black-red might be more open than white-red or white-black, I think we have enough good white cards that we can make it work and still get to play this White Sun's Twilight. And now, getting past Akaya means that I'm just going to be playing black-white. This card is absolutely incredible. You just play it for 7 mana, plus it up to 8 loyalty, and then you just keep plussing it and they lose. Or you can start drawing cards with it. It's just a really, really good card, I think. Even though it costs a lot of mana for this format, you can make some like deck building decisions to help you get to the late game. And we have this board sweeper to help us get to the late game. The Rhea Evor is another black-white bomb. So I think the Kaya is going to do a lot of work here. If it wasn't in the pack, I would be tempted by this Basilica Shepherd as just a white card. And then there's some black cards as well, but we're really happy with this Kaya. And getting past it tells us good things about the rest of this draft, I think. Flensing Raptor can be nice. We're kind of trying to build a control deck now. Oh yeah. What? Thank you so much, Fishbish, for the subscription. I appreciate the support. Here, Hexgold Slash would be my pick if I was still towing the line with red. I think Flensing Raptor has some potential here for helping me get Corrupted enabled. I think it's going to be... I don't love Ravenous Necrotitan, but it's definitely a card you can play. And then there's just some random junkers. I think I'll take the Flensing Raptor. It's just the best card, I think, even though it doesn't really fit my game plan all that well. here. There's a draw Skull Bomb for a nice piece of value. It's also Cruel Grimnark as a top-end card. I don't really need top-end. I figure I'll probably wheel the Grimnark anyway. Maybe I take the Dross Pit. With a 7-drop, the lands that make you sack get a little bit worse anyway. I think I'll just take the Skull Bomb. And accept the fact that my deck is probably going to see some red cards. I'm not going to play this Infectious Inquiry. I have enough slow card advantage, I think. Incisor Glider is not very good in my deck, and so I think I'm going to take the Offer Immortality. Let's see my creature count. 7 creatures. Maybe I just need the creatures. This is a creature too, though, so that kind of counts. And I do think the Offer Immortality does good work with some of the cards I already have. Unctus is a sweet card, but we're not going to go into blue. It's between the Incisor Glider and the Offer Immortality. Incisor Glider does not really do much in my deck right now, so I'm just going to take the Immortality. I'll take the Bone Picker Scourge. We are seeing a lot of good red cards, but I think Kaya just blows them all away. We just need to take these cheap cards, though. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 2-drops right now. We didn't really need to pile up on Incisor Gliders, because we don't have early ways to enable Corrupted, and so we're not really focusing on that. 15 cards, but we don't have all the premium options we're looking for. We have some really good top end. This card's still pretty good. Works well if we can go wide a little bit. But yeah, still not the best. Thank you so much, Prismatic Infinity, for gifting some subscriptions to the channel. I appreciate the support. Mercurial Spelldancer is a really good card. We're just not playing blue because we have rares already, but blue is super open here. Okay, now there's just a 2-mana 3/1. There's also another Offer Immortality, but we might just take the 3/1. I think the 3/1's kind of bad in our deck because we actually have some gold cards. Take another Offer Immortality. Okay, so the colors I'm in are not very open. It's very apparent. This card's really good with the Offer Immortalities. I was hoping to get this guy. Blue is wide open here. But when you have Kaya, I think you... And White Sun's Twilight. Like, I think white itself is not open. We've, like, first picked this. We got past this, like, pick twos. So white itself is not very open. But we have so many good white cards that we can fill it in with the black cards. And I think white-black is a pretty strong pairing. I'm just going to put in all the cards that I could consider playing. Okay, I like Cruel Grimnark sometimes as a top-end card. I don't like Cutthroat Centurion at all. And I already have a copy of the Infectious Inquiry that I'm not playing. Maybe I'll try Vraska's Fall. Really hoping not to play this Cutthroat Centurion. Got a little bit of early Toxic. Okay, I'll take the Dross Pits. I might play 18 lands in this deck. My deck is pretty expensive. Having a couple lands I can sacrifice makes 18 lands a little bit more viable. So, like, if I play 18 lands, I don't need to get that many cards in pack 3. Sure, I'll take the Rebuke. Red is pretty open here. Maybe black wasn't open from that direction, but it'll be open again in pack 3. Ooh, Sword of Fortune Frontier is a really good card. Just put it onto your creatures and you just win against a lot of the color combinations. If they have red or green cards, it's really good. It's a lot of card advantage. This card's excellent. The other card that I would like in this pack is Mandible Justiciar. Just gains me a lot of life. I don't have that many artifacts, but I have a few, and the life gain's nice. I would probably take Planar Disruption over it, but I do hope one of these 3 white cards wheels. Not super likely based on how cut off white has been, but we have a lot of good late game cards. So we really just need to get any early game creatures that we can at this point. Keeping in mind, of course, that we pretty much got past all of our other bomb rares. Opening one feels pretty good. We're just going to take anything cheap here. So taking an Incisor Glider, definitely a nice pickup. Wields the sword well, blocks kind of early. It's not really a great card, but it does the job. I think red-white maybe would have even ended up being a better deck than the black-white deck, but black has been pretty open, I'd say. And we have this Kaya. I don't know. I felt like we were getting past the Kaya, but like we also got a late Bladehold War Whip, so. But I think the real problem is white hasn't been open. So even we're seeing red-white cards, it's more like black-red would have been more open as a color combination, I think. We'll take the glider, though. And now there is a crawling chorus. Nice little one drop. It can stall a little bit. It can chump block. It can wield swords and stuff. I can use Offer Immortality on it because they're going to block it. I think it's better than the Dune mover here by a decent margin. Ooh, the Rat King. I don't think the Rat King's very good in our deck because we don't have a single other rat. I would probably just rather have like any 2-drop. Like even Scheming Aspirant might be better. I don't have any Proliferate though, so that card's probably not where I want to be. 3/3 for 3 that's hard to cast and can never find me a rat. I think I'll just take charge of the mites. I do have a decent number of creatures. And it's a removal spell. I wouldn't mind a Bone Picker Scourge either. Here I'll just take Fleshless Gladiator over Rib Skiff and over Whisper of the Dross. Just want a 2-drop, pretty much. I'm just going to play any number of 2-drops I can get. My deck has really good late game, and I just don't want to die early. Even though I don't like the Fleshless Gladiators in general. And now we get Blightbelly Rat, another 2-drop that's much better than the Fleshless Gladiator. There's also another Offer Immortality. There's another Basilica. I don't think you want more than 2 of these, though. Tap lands are really clunky here. And another rat. Karamonix would have done work. Classic. No way I could have known that at the time, but we're just going to keep taking these. They're much better 2-drops than these gladiators. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this will be our 8th 2-drop. Basilica Shepherd's also nice. And now we get an Annihilating Glare as just a removal spell. Our deck really came together a little bit here. Ravenous Necrotitan. We could also take Phyrexian Atlas, but I think we'll just take the Necrotitan. We have some good stuff to sack to it. Draw Skull Bomb. So this deck kind of came together in pack 3, I will say. The cuts are going to be fairly straightforward, just pretty much cutting any like slow, dirtily cards. Just keeping all of the value and kind of removal and control elements. Sure, we'll take another Fleshless Gladiator, probably not play it. And now there's another Offer Immortality. There's also a Bone Picker Scourge. I don't think the Scourge is very good, but Offer Immortality is quite nice. Even a 3rd copy might be playable. Okay, there's a tap land. I'm going to play 18 lands in this deck. I just want to hit all my land drops. I might even play all 3 of these sacrifice lands to go with that kind of controlling strategy. And then just cut some of these like cards like Draw Skull Bomb. I can't use it early. If I'm playing 18 lands, I don't think I need the Dune mover. Because they're not splashing either. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 2-drops. This is a removal spell. This is a removal spell. These are combat tricks. And then let's just see what my worst 3-drops are. Definitely don't need the Infectious Inquiry. Don't like that guy. Don't really like the Gold Warden's Helm in this deck either. Flunzing Raptor can boost up a Blightbelly Rat or one of these guys. Still a reasonable card. Bone Picker Scourge is going to be hard to enable, but could be worth doing. Necrotitan's hard to use for sure. And then I'm going to add a land, so I have to make 3 more cuts here. I probably don't need all 3, so I'll play 2 of them. And I probably don't need all these, so I'll cut one of them. I'm going to try Vraska's Fall. I've never played it. I think Bone Picker Scourge is a really nice card if I can put a sword on it or something, so I'm going to try it. Also, I like flyers with Rhea Evor. And then I just need to make 1 more cut so I can add a land. What's my color count looking like? A little bit heavier black, so I'll add a swamp. I like Sheoldred's Headcleaver a lot with Offer Immortality. That's a pretty good combo. I kind of like this Cruel Grimnarch as well for my 18-land deck. I like my evasiveness with the Rhea Evor. I have 2, 4, 6, 7 2-drops, which I think is a good place to be, and the 1 Crawling Chorus. I'm definitely leaning towards cutting this Vraska's Fall. Like, Vraska's Fall would suck against my deck. I'll just cut the Vraska's Fall. It's just a bit slow. Maybe I play 1 Vraska's Fall, 1 Offer Immortality. Try it out like that. I do want to get some reps with this card, see it in action. So I think I'm going to run it like this. And I think we'll make Kaya our artwork, even though this White Sun's Twilight is a key piece of our deck too. We're playing 18 lands. We have a lot of powerful cards, and we'll see how it does. I'll see you folks in the games. If you've been enjoying my channel, you can support it at patreon.com/NicolaiBolas. Patrons gain access to exclusive bonus content like my draft tier list for Phyrexia All Will Be One, where I grade every card in the set on an A through F scale and compile it into a handy dandy spreadsheet. I'd like to give a special shout out to the patrons who support at the credits level, and if you have been enjoying my content and would like to help the channel, you can do so at Patreon. Thank you to all of my patrons, and without further ado, let's get to the games. Welcome to round number 1. I think that it's worth noting, I was telling this to Twitch chat, I am streaming this live, by the way, if you're ever interested, twitch.tv/NicolaiBolas, link in the description. We're going to keep this, by the way. 2-drop, 3-drop, pretty much exactly what we want. But I was saying that when you have a 7-drop in your deck, like Kaya, you have to make some concessions to make sure you can get to 7 mana, because most decks don't get to 7 mana all that consistent. And the way I'm doing that is by making sure to include an 18th land. And I also have this Mirror Convert, which can help me ramp. I will trade if they attack, because then I can use Vraska's Fall optimally. Okay, they exile, sure. Gonna use this now before they have the chance to do anything crazy. I'm not really worried about them poisoning me. Maybe Edifice can kill something, depending on what they play. It cannot. We're just going to play it. Not going to pay the life. Because this gives us the option of playing this and equipping it next turn. They could have a kill spell here, which would be okay. It would be good for them. Sure. I also mentioned when you're playing the 18th land, so your Kaya is good. Oh man, I was hoping they didn't have that card to just max punish me. When you have the 18th land for your Kaya, you need to make sure that you have some like other cards that are also expensive, because you're going to be drawing a lot of lands. I was hoping they didn't have this card. It just gets me completely owned. With my Ambulatory Edifice would have been able to kill it. Okay, I'll take 8. Next turn we're playing Kaya. We're going to exile the Testament Bearer. And create a chump blocker with it. Okay, so they got rid of a combat trick, which is slightly worrying. Another Testament Bearer, okay. Do they have +2/+2? We'll find out. Okay, they do not have +2/+2. Maybe they have a burn spell. We are going to do this. If they have the Volt Charge, they win. But if they don't have it, we're going to start plussing and then we win. Okay, they get me my 3rd poison. I'm just going to start plussing this to get out of range of them. Okay. Really? That's a bold attack. I'm not going to trade away this thing because it gives me the 2nd blocker I need. And I'll give this thing protection from red.
It's what you deserve.
I'm actually going to take 1 turn of being a little bit safer. Because I think I can't possibly lose if I untap 1 more turn. Because I could have gone like equip, attack, done stuff with this. But I think this is just way safer. Okay, So I have a flyer blocker now, so I'm going to do this. Get rid of that guy. Attack. They can jump if they want. And then I'll just plus Kaya again next turn.
Just give up already.
I have more than enough blockers. I'm at 8. I think we got him. Just going to block everything. I think this is blocking max damage. We take 2 from this. They can't do anything crazy. Got the win. That was a pretty excellent example of what our deck's trying to do. Kaya is really strong. I'll see you folks next round. Welcome to another round. On the play, I don't know if this hand is keepable. We don't have any early creatures. We have a lot that we can do. This card can't be cast. This card can't be cast. This card does nothing. I'm going to mulligan this hand, which is crazy. Normally, I wouldn't mulligan that sort of hand. But this hand I'm going to keep because I have much better options of things I can do. I'm actually going to get rid of this Annihilating Glare. Because, again, it's the least useful in the early game. I wonder if they'll play a 1-toughness creature for me to kill. If they do, I'm in really good shape. If they don't, not the best. Just gonna play this. It's unfortunate, but that's how you do it sometimes. Sure. I can't block any of the guys. Might as well do some attacking. Doing this in case I draw one of the white tap lands in my deck. I think the 1-mana 1/2 is alright. Twitch chat asked. You just need stuff to do early, and it blocks and attacks. This is just a little bit of an unfortunate scenario. My opponent has done nothing, I've done nothing, but their nothing is casting spells that do nothing, and my nothing is not casting any spells. Okay, now I'll hold back on defense, because my guy has some stuff it can block. Yep, that's game. That's just how it goes sometimes. I'll see you folks next round. Welcome to round number 3. We're going to keep this hand. We've got 1-drop, 2-drop this thing. We do have the tap land. This is why I don't love the tap lands, but I think my deck is more of a slow deck. It's not really like, oh, play Crawling Chorus and kill them with it. So it's fine to have a few tap lands. I think we have on the high end of what I'd normally play, but I think when I'm playing, as I said, 18 lands, I want to make sure I don't flood out. And so I have like that random 6-drop, Cruel Grimnarch, and then I have these tap lands to kind of make sure that I don't. I'm just going to be the most mana efficient possible. I have a lot of other 2-drops in the deck that I could draw. Then I could like double spell. Just going to play Sword. I might kill this with my Charge of the Mites. I'm up in the air about it. So they can either chump block here, or they can let me play a second land, and if I can play a second land, I can Charge of the Mites anyway to kill their thing. They have to chump block with Trawler Drake, which is what I would Charge of the Mites anyway. Okay, so they're letting me get some action here. Hopefully I hit a Plains. Not the best, but still functional. Exiling this card in particular is not my favorite. I'm just going to kill that thing now, and I'll sacrifice that. I think we're still in good shape. We've got one of our bomb rares rolling. Okay. They tap my guy. That's totally fine. That's why I still have another guy. And they can't even block. Perfect. This is going quite well. Sword of Forge and Frontier really showing its power. Okay, that's a card that I'll hope to be able to kill. But it can't block this thing, and I'll just attack normally, because I want to have as much mana as possible for this. And if they double block the Head Cleaver, which is a reasonable block for them to make, then I get to kill both their guys. This is the best combo, really, that I think. It's just so good. They're just going to concede to this, I think. This is one of the reasons why I considered running another Offer Immortality in this build, but I only have one Head Cleaver to combo. And they scoop it up. The sword, too good. Nice to bounce back after a rough mana game with a much more clean victory. I'll see you folks next round. Welcome to another round. We have all swamps, no plains again, which I think makes us a mulligan. We just can't cast the spells that we need to cast, and Kaya's kind of a blank here. This hand is much better. We'll definitely keep this one. And I think we'll get rid of the Incisor Glider. We want to keep all of our lands for sure. I like the 2 toxic creatures, turn 1 toxic, turn 2 toxic removal. Obviously, this hand would be better if we could keep the Incisor Glider. But you don't always get what you want. Crawling Chorus on the play has got to be the most scary start, especially when they follow it up with a Swamp. I don't love using Planar Disruption on a random 2-drop, but I'll probably do it here. That's one that I don't really care about, though, so I'll just attack into it. Sure, they are now corrupted. Incisor Glider would be good here. I could have just ditched the land and just kept the Incisor Glider, but missing your land drop is a good recipe to lose. Okay. We kind of got what we came for, and now we just have to draw 4 lands to play Kaya and win. Hopefully we can stabilize. Some of our cards got a little bit better. We will Planar Disruption that. But first, we'll play the Scourge. Because we can just chump block this for a turn, save the 5 points of damage, and then planar disruption it after. And now we have a nice attacker to start gaining some life. Buy us some time. Sinew Dancer, sure. Flensing Raptor, sure. They could have played that pre-combat to give their guy up flying. Just gonna play it like that. I don't really want to trade this thing off. I might have to. They're flooded. That's good for me. So we have a pretty good state here on the board. High life total, no real pressure. They're stopping our flyer for now, but they aren't dealing that much. We have a 10-turn clock here. That's a good draw. Let's see what they do with their Sinew Dancer. Because if they do tap something with the Sinew Dancer, they might tap that guy. Perfect. I was kind of hoping for that. I'll hit them. I'm not really worried about the toxic count, and I have a blocker for their Flensing Raptor anyway. They could have +2/+2 or something. I'm okay with that. Maze's Mantle, okay. That's a little bit more worrisome, for sure. I'll just hold back my Scourge now. My life total is pretty high. Let's see what they decide to tap. I think they should tap the Bone Picker Scourge, probably. I guess that this guy still does 2 toxic to them, so they might be worried about that. No attacks now. Play our land and pass. We will now trade these off because a 2/2 for a 4/4 is a good deal for us. Even if ours does have lifelink. They're up to 7 mana. Oh, okay. They'll exile our flyer. We are on a 5-turn clock. We can definitely beat that pretty easily. We even just have the God tier line of exiling this thing and then getting it to come into play and exiling that thing. So we'll do that as soon as we hit the lands to do it. And we still have 5 turns here to draw 2 lands. I guess we need to draw 1 land now. That's actually a pretty good draw here. Hey, Echo Bravo, thank you for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. We're drafting. We're playing Black-White Control. We've got a pretty cool deck here. We're setting up for the Kaya, Exile, Annex Sentry, Annex Flensing Raptor line, which is going to be sweet. Yeah, welcome in, everybody. I've watched Echo Bravo before. He's a great drafter. Plays in Mythic all the time. Also just fun to hang out with. Good stream energy. But yeah, if you're new here, if you've never seen my stuff, my name's Nikolai. I play a lot of draft, and I have a YouTube channel as well, where I post draft guides and things like that. Perfect. So now we play this. We go for the line. Auto pay. We could go to 10 life, but our opponent might think that we're going to just exile the Flensing Raptor, which is definitely a line that we could go for. But I think this is going to be more rewarding, because even if they get the Flensing Raptor back, this just buys a lot of time. We get more ground blockers, and they don't have anything right now, so...
I can't stand by when evil threatens the multiverse.
Oh, those were fun, Echo Bravo. Echo Bravo's talking about tournaments we used to play in. Those were always great. I've been thinking about hosting a draft tournament myself at some point for the community of limited folks. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Everyone always enjoys them. Streamer showdowns and things like that. But yeah, we got the win. See everybody next round. Welcome to round number 5. This is a very close hand. It's kind of similar to some of the other hands I've mulliganed, but I'm going to keep it because I have this disruption to help buy me time in the early turns. I'm on the draw so I can hit land drops. And in some matchups, this is going to just do a lot of good stuff. And I have my extra land, which will make sure that I hit my land drops, hopefully. Okay, perfect. We have the Incisor Glider to block this. no longer have an Incisor Glider to block that. Perfect. There's a land. I think I'm going to Planar Disruption this Malcator Watcher. Blue-white, I don't really care about the... And I'm kind of worried about them turning this into a 4/4. And the 1 damage is going to add up. Yep, there's an Eye of Malcator. Perfect. We're continuing to just hit our land drops. Here we're just going to pass and play Charge of the Mites, because then we can use the Charge of the Mites to equip the sword. Hopefully continue hitting land drops. I assume that they'll play an artifact here. No artifact. Wow, that's huge. Okay, attack with both. Might as well. I'll definitely block the Orthodoxy Enforcer and go for the Offer Immortality line, I think. Blue-white does have some instant speed shenanigans, but not an insane number that could really blow me out. Well, that's really bad. That's just the ultimate wrecking. I'm just so dead. This draw never came together, really. I think I would have taken a lot of damage from this thing, by the way. Yeah, they just never move the block. Yeah, that's game. Oh, that's just unfortunate. I could have mulliganed that hand, to be fair. Maybe I was supposed to. Why does it always ask me this when I lose? I don't know. Weird. I could have mulliganed my opening hand. I had some useless cards. I didn't. The problem was I drew a couple creatures, but I didn't have enough lands to really deploy my stuff. This is the whole reason I'm playing 18 lands. Keeping a 2-lander, 18 lands on the draw. If I'd just drawn lands, I think I would have done fine. Oh well. Welcome to another round. This is a great hand. It's just kind of got everything we want. We've got lands and spells. Just a classic combination. Just going to bounce back from that last game. Oh, NicolaiBolas preview card. Always a fan. If they don't evolve it, they're toast. If they do evolve it, we're kind of in trouble a little bit. We're happy blocking, because if they play a combat trick here... Oh, if it's free from flesh, it's not the best. We can make them sack it. I was thinking if they played like a +3/+1 or something, then we could get them. As it is, we'll make them sacrifice their guy. They aren't deploying their board, developing their board all that much. Get rid of their 3/3, give them a poison. Okay. I don't think I'm going to get to use this edifice, but on the off chance that they play like a random 1 toughness guy, I kind of have time, and this thing blocks this thing totally reasonably. Okay. No attacks. We're just chilling. They're missing land drops. We have land drops. That's kind of bad. That's pretty bad for us. Heck yes. Cruel Grimnark coming in clutch once more. Just nice little 2-for-1 big body. Trade with this Mantis. Make it so the other guys can't attack. Ooh, they get rid of that. Okay, that means they have something else that's good. Because that card's really good in this position, because they know I'm going to block. They just keep another Mantis, eh? Oh. We'll see what we shall see. We are in good shape here, I think. We can trade one of these off. I kind of wanted to like double block the other one, but I think I'm just going to rely on drawing a removal spell. Ooh, that's scary. I'm surprised they didn't play that pre-combat. That's a good draw. We can use that on defense pretty nicely. They're just going to destroy us here, though. We just have flooded a little bit. Yeah, this is not great. I'll give that haste. Yep. Attack everything, I assume. Yep. Hmm. Would I rather keep the 1/3? I think so, because the 1/3 can block that guy. They probably do have a combat trick as their last card, eh? Going for this on defense is so sketchy, but I think I have to. So if I draw that card, we're in business. Wow, why didn't they use that before? I guess they just drew it. Okay, big draw time for me. Great. Just lovely. Can you imagine how satisfying it would be if I drew White Sun's Twilight? That would be a great situation. Wow, they do it like that? Why would they ever attack like that? Now I get to make 2 trades. Their 2/3 was way more valuable. Okay, they messed it up. So we're not dead. We have one more draw step here to find our Kaya or White Suns. Never mind. Of course they have a haste creature. Yep, we die. Well, that was unfortunate. We just didn't draw the top end we needed. I guess we drew our Cruel Grimnark. Their deck just destroyed me. If I had drawn any of my 3 rares, we would have won, though. Kaya would have destroyed them. The White Sun's Twilight would have destroyed them. My sword would have been unbeatable, so... That's just how it goes sometimes, though. You can't rely on drawing well. You have to have a deck that has enough good cards that it's fine. We kind of do. Like, we have a very high density of threats and stuff. Like, this card would have been great. This card would have been great. and this card would have been great. All three of those would have won us the game, but sometimes you just don't have any of your best cards in the top half. And then the rest of our deck is like, so like when your deck is built around three like really strong cards, like the only reason we're playing black-white is because of these two cards. Like white was not open at all in that draft. If you just don't draw your cards that you build your deck around, your deck just looks like garbage. So like we won the 2 games where we drew Kaya very easily, and we never cast the White Sun's Twilight, and we won like 2 games with Sword of Forge and Frontier. But the games where we never had any of these rares, we just lost, like complete massacres. Our deck looked like it was weak as heck. So that's just how it goes. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it all the way till the end, leave hashtag past bombs in the comment section down below, because we got past pretty much all of the good cards in our deck. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next time.